Hello and welcome. Today we're talking about fake victimhood. People who go around telling everyone that you cut them off without also including what they did to cause the cutoff, to cause you to come out from among them. I'm Cassandra Mack, founder of CassandраMackMinistries.com, where we bring you church by phone each and every Sunday. For more information about church by phone, my books, inspirational mugs, t-shirts, and hoodies, or anything else you want to find out about the ministry, feel free to go to CassandраMackMinistries.com. The links are in the video description box. So let's jump right in. Fake victimhood. People who pretend to be the victim of your cutoff without telling people the honest, real truth of why you had to either distance yourself from them if it's not a complete cutoff or go no contact. They are trying to vilify you for preserving your peace, protecting your mental health, safeguarding your emotional well-being, and sidestepping unnecessary drama and confusion. And so when this is happening, you may find that you are racking your brain like, how are they going to make me the victim? And how are they going to make themselves the victim? And they're the one going around gossiping about me. Like, how are they going to make me the bad guy? And they slept with my husband or wife, if that's the case. How are they going to make me the bad guy? And they stole from me. How are they going to make me the bad guy? And they owe me money that they promised to pay me back. And I simply said no to a second loan because they didn't pay me back for the first time. But I'm the villain in this? How am I the bad guy when they asked me if they could stay at my place for 2 weeks and I let them stay at my place for 2 months? 2 months became 6 months. They don't want to give me any money towards rent, any money towards any type of bills, but I'm the bad guy because I'm starting the process to get them out of my place. How am I the bad guy when they reneged on what we agreed to, when they reneged on their promise, or they are gossiping about me or slandering me, and I found out about it and confronted them, yet I'm the bad guy? So know that people, baby, they will play this victim game, knowing they dead wrong, and they will try to vilify you to other people. And typically this happens for 3 primary reasons, and there are a number of reasons, but we're just going to focus on 3. Number 1, they want to get in front of the story because they know that their behavior was so foul, so foul. I'm talking foul with a capital F, smelly foul. They know their behavior was so foul that they want to get in front of the story so that they can do damage control. And so if you ever think about companies, when companies make a grave mistake that affects their bottom line, oftentimes they will hire a PR strategist to get in front of the story so that they can shape the way the general public sees the situation and they can do damage control. So similarly, when you are dealing with someone who is a fake victim and they are vilifying you when in fact they were the one who engaged in a behavior that justified you needing to protect your peace or set a boundary or create some distance or do what you needed to do to put some distance there, yet you are the villain and they are the victim. And so they're doing damage control. They are on a PR campaign, just like a company hires a PR strategist to sway the story and get their version of the story out to the public first so that the public can sympathize with their cause, their reasoning. This is the same thing that fake victims do. And I want to be real clear for those who are super sensitive. We're not talking about real victims. If you were the real victim of a crime, that's not even introduced here. We're not talking about that. So specifically in this video, we are talking about somebody who does you dirty and then they lie about it and give the remix version of the story saying you did them dirty, leaving out all the details of what they did. the person who will have a relationship or initiate a relationship with your significant other, and when you call them out, you're wrong. That's your husband and wife or wife, but you're wrong. The person who will steal money from you and will get mad because you're not understanding of the fact that they stole your money. Or the person who you've loaned money to countless times, they never pay you back. You got bills like everybody else. You got to keep a roof over your head and the lights on. You got to eat. And if you got kids, you got to feed them. Just like the next man or woman, yet they want to vilify you for maintaining your basic needs. How ludicrous is this? But you're going to meet people like this all the time. So understand, they want to get in front of the story. And a lot of times what happens is when a person is foul, they know they're foul. And they are so afraid of you exposing their true nature and forcing them to drop the mask, so to speak, that in order to keep up appearances and keep the mask on, they will go on a campaign to smear your name so that by the time you don't even know this is happening. So by the time you find out a month or 2 or 3 months later, there's like 30 people that heard their version of the story. You don't even know why people are acting funny towards you. Like, why when I walk in the room, they giving me the side eye? Like, why everybody get quiet when I come in the room? Why, like when I'm around this particular family member or when I'm in this business setting or this social setting, like why like my former friends that, I went to high school with or college with, or the former people that, I grew up with, why they act funny when I'm around? Because this person talking about you and they got in front of the story. So understand that, right? 2, a lot of times they want to paint you as the bad person, as a way to dodge self-reflection and personal accountability. The thing about a lot of people is that a lot of people do not take the time to reflect. Most people will point out the needle in somebody else's eye without looking at the plank in their own. And the reality is we all have planks in our eyes. We all have things about our personality, things about ourselves that need tweaking, that need growth, that need improvement, right? We all fall short of the glory. Not one of us is perfect, myself included. I am far, 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 that many fars times 100 from perfect. And so the thing is, none of us are perfect. We all fall short of the glory. But there are some individuals who realize that they are not perfect and they are working on leveling up. They're working on growing day by day. They're working on doing the best they can not to hurt people, not to be a malicious person. They're doing the best they can to live this life with a measure of grace and a measure of compassion and a measure of kindness. But everybody ain't like you. And so a lot of times, because they don't want to self-reflect, particularly people who have narcissistic personality traits. They don't want to take the time to say, I do play mind games with people. You were absolutely correct. I do gaslight people. I do try to railroad people when they point out something that is accurate and true, because I don't want to deal with it, because then it means that I have to change. It means that I have to be accountable. It means that I'm going to have to do something to change that particular behavior. So it is easier for me to pretend that they are the bad guy. They are making this thing up, when it is clear as day that there are some things about me that I need to look at in terms of my own growth. And so a lot of people don't do the time, don't put in the work, don't take the time, I should say, for self-reflection and personal accountability. And so it is easier to point out the little speck of sawdust in your eye than it is to look at the big, they got a 2x4, look at a 2x4 sticking out their eye that they just refuse to see, but they're going to look at the sawdust in your eye. And the Bible says, and I'm paraphrasing, but basically before you point out the sawdust, the dust in your neighbor's eye, take out the plank in your own. And so there are people who just don't want to be accountable because it's uncomfortable to be accountable, because you've got to do the hard work of self-reflection. You have to do the hard work of owning behavior and saying, there are some ways of being that I have adopted over the years that are not nice. There are some ways of being that I have adopted over the years that are self-seeking, purely self-seeking and mercenary. Not so many people are going to sit there and admit that. There are some ways of being that I have that are controlling and manipulative and narcissistic. I mean, how many people have you come across, if you did a survey, how many narcissistic, controlling, manipulative people have you come across, if you were to survey them, that say, you're absolutely right. Thank you. I am so narcissistic, and boy, oh boy, I am really a controlling individual. I surely got some control issues, and on top of that, I'm manipulative. How many people are going to admit that? And so know that it's a difficult thing to be accountable and to self-reflect. So that's the second reason. And then thirdly, they know that if other people knew the real story, they would see them for how foul they really are. And as a result, they too might distance themselves from them. And so if word were to get out that the person who, let's say they made a play for your significant other. So if the word were to get out that a person made a play, someone who befriended you, gained your trust, came to your house when they knew you weren't going to be home, just to seduce your significant other, and if word got out that that's how they got down, then the people in your circle are not going to want that person around them. They know this. If you have an individual who stole money from you, and word got around that they stole from you, who's going to trust them? If word got around that you've loaned them money on several occasions, and not only have they not paid you back, but they're entitled about it, as if you go to work to pay their bills. If the sole purpose for you to go to work is to bail them out of whatever debts that they're in. Nothing wrong with helping people. We are supposed to extend kindness and compassion, help and serve when we can. But there's a difference between helping someone who is grateful and enabling someone who's entitled. And so a lot of times they know that if other people knew the real story, like how they really got down, they wouldn't want to be around this person anymore. And so this is why they go out of their way to be fake victims. And so I want to give you some scriptures that I think are really appropriate here. And one is Proverbs 10:19. And it says, when words are many, transgression is not lacking. But whoever restrains his lips is prudent. And so the reason they talking so much and they can't shut the hell up is because transgression is not lacking, meaning wrongdoing on their end is not lacking. When a person is doing wrong and they want to be wrong and strong, their words are going to be many, because they got to try to get the story straight. They got to try to get in front of the story. They have to try to assassinate your character and slander you so that they could try to puff themselves up. So when words are many, transgression is not lacking. But whoever restrains his lips is prudent. And the reason why you ain't saying a whole lot is, number one, when someone's talking behind your back, you don't even know. So it's going to take you a minute to finally be like, that's why everybody's acting funny. You sitting up here lying. You saying stone cold. This ain't just a lie. This a stone cold lie. Like, how does your mind even conceptualize the level of lyingness? I don't even know if that's the word. The level of lie that you come, like, whose mind is that bent towards ill will, that you can come up with some stuff, some fabrications that boggle my mind? See, but you restrain your lips because you're wise. You ain't got a whole lot to say. You're wise. You live your life in a way that's wise. You taking care of your business. You about your business. You about your priorities. You don't have a whole lot of time for the foolery. So you restrain your lips, you prudent. So understand that when a person got a whole lot to say and they always talking about somebody else, there's some transgression there. Be mindful of people like that. Be mindful of people who are on a mission to badmouth you or badmouth somebody else to you. Be mindful of that. Now, I will say there are times when a person who's close to us wants to give us the heads up about somebody who did them dirty so that we're aware of that, right? So it could be a situation where they loan somebody a significant amount of money, or they went into a business deal with them and the person betrayed them in business. And they're trying to save you time and money so that you don't have the same fate that they had. But then they're going to have some proof to back it up. It's not going to be a bunch of stories fabricated and based on lies. And their goal is not about assassinating someone's character. Their goal is to let you know, listen, you may not want to do business with this person, because when I did business with this person, this is what happened. They actually beat me out of $2,000, or they beat me out of $500. And so you're not lying. That is what really happened. And if you had an honest conversation with the person, you were not gossiping about them, because you said it to their face. You beat me out of $2,000 or $500, and then whatever the consequences are, I'm taking you to court, whatever it is, or maybe you take the L. But the point is, you are not out here trying to run a smear campaign, but you were giving an honest review, like, this is my honest situation of what happened. Or if somebody made a play for your significant other, you have mutual friends, you may warn somebody else. You have to be careful around this person. I wouldn't really trust her or trust him. And that's a little different from gossiping, because it's not necessarily talking about them behind their back, because you're willing to say it to their face. So that there's no fakeness here. Anything I say behind your back, and I really don't talk about people behind their back, but I will say it to your face. So I'm the wrong person to ask if I said something, because I will tell you what I really said with no type of shame about it. And so be mindful of that. So when you are saying, yes, I did tell so-and-so that you made a play for my husband because I don't trust you, and that's what happened. So yes, I did tell her because I don't trust you, and this is why we're not cool how we used to be. That's straight up. Straight up, I don't trust you. Straight up, we ain't where we used to be. I forgive you, but you can never come in my home again. And did I tell my sister how you got down? Absolutely. She needs to know that about you. Straight up. You're not denying it. You're not playing both ends against the middle. You're not speaking with a forked tongue out of both sides of your mouth. You grown, owning your grown, straight up, keeping it 100. You keeping it a buck, above board. This is what it is. Yep. So understand that when words are many, transgression is not lacking. Psalm 5:9 says, for there is no truth in their mouth. Their innermost self is destruction. Their throat is an open grave, my Lord. They flatter with their tongue. And so when you are dealing with someone that the truth ain't even in their mouth, like the truth, imagine, the truth ain't in their mouth. And in their innermost self, it's destruction. They're not willing to do the work. They're not willing to take responsibility. They're not willing to be accountable. They're not willing to self-reflect. So when you're dealing with an individual like that and the truth ain't in their mouth, their throat is an open grave. Every time you talk, a dead body coming out your mouth. Every time you talk, it's another skeleton. Dang, I can't handle all these skeletons. Every time you open up your mouth, a demon popping out. You messing with my energy. You messing with my vibe. See, they'll flatter you with their tongue. Flattery is false praise. It's insincere. And so understand, if you are racking your brain wondering, why is this person who did me dirty making me the villain? They did me dirty, but they're vilifying me. Now you understand why. They're trying to get in front of the story so that they can do damage control. They want to point you out as the bad person as a way to dodge self-reflection and personal accountability. And they knew or know that if others know how they really get down, then other people are going to be leery of them too. Because a smart person learns from experience, but a wise person learns from the experience of others. And so understand that when a person is being a fake victim because you have elected to put some boundaries in that relationship, or you've chosen to totally come out from among them and shake the dust off your feet. Like, I forgive you, but I forgive you from afar. I forgive you while you in your house, and I'm going to stay in my house. I still have love for you. Maybe it's a family member. But because of your level of toxicity, I got to love you from at least 100 yards. I got to love you from a distance. I got to love you from about 100 miles. 100 yards ain't enough. And so you get the point I'm making. So understand that it is not really about you, but self-preservation is the first law of nature. And so even when an individual, for most people, not everybody, but even when a person, especially a person whose throat is an open grave and there's no truth in their mouth, that type of individual, they're going to try to preserve their reputation, even if it means lying, fabricating, which is lying, and throwing you under the bus and putting mud on your name. And so I hope that this brings you some resolution and understanding why people do what they do. You can't change people's behavior, but at least understanding what motivates a particular behavior allows you to come to a place within yourself where you make the decision, this is what I can control, this is outside of my control. So I cannot give energy to what's outside of my control, but I can give energy to maintaining my boundaries. I can give energy to creating some distance to people with people who are toxic. I can give energy to guarding my heart. I can give energy to put checks, balances, and safeguards in place when I'm dealing with a person who plays the victim when in reality, they're the one that did me dirty. I can put some checks and balances and not let somebody gaslight me and make me believe that I am being a mean person because I am electing to come out from among someone who is toxic to my spiritual growth and my well-being. 2 Corinthians 6:17, I want to leave you with this, says, wherefore come out from among them and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. And so sometimes we have to learn how to come out from among people who are constantly creating chaos wherever they go. And you may love them, but sometimes you got to love people from a distance and forgive folks from afar, right? It says, come out from among them and be ye separate. I got to separate myself from your chaos. I got to separate myself from your drama. I got to separate myself from your shisty, betraying type ways because I can't trust you. So I'm going to have to separate myself from you. I can't even touch what you're doing. I can't even touch this conversation. I can't touch this drama. I can't touch the level of discord you're trying to bring to me. I can't touch this. This is an unclean thing. I can't even touch this because I'm trying to focus on what God has for me. And I'm trying to be about my Father's business. I don't hate you, but I can't fool with you either. I don't hate you. But in this season of my life, I'm clear that I got to come out from among you because we ain't even in agreement. Right? Amos 3:3, can two walk together except they be agreed? You are agreeing to walk your life in the direction of chaos, drama, and toxicity, and you're trying to take me with you. But I didn't agree to this. And so because I didn't agree to this, I got to come out from among this messiness. And when we understand it from that perspective, no one can ever gaslight you and make you believe that you are the villain when in fact you were the victim of their ill will. I hope you found this helpful. It's a little noisy. They're doing some sort of construction outside my window, but we're going to press through. I think many of you know that I live in noisy New York. And so our sponsor for today's video is BetterHelp. And I want to thank BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. And BetterHelp provides therapy done securely online. There's a network that they have of over 20,000 licensed therapists. And the way it works is BetterHelp will assess your needs. They match you with your own licensed professional therapist, and they're committed to making sure that you have the right match. So if for whatever reason the first therapist is not the right fit, they make it easy to change therapists if need be. And so I'm going to give you a link that you can use if you were interested in pursuing therapy. Perhaps you were in a situation where, somebody tried to vilify you and you were like, I just need to get to a place where I can unpack some of this stuff that I'm feeling and have some coping strategies. And so I want to give you a link that you can use. And it is betterhelp.com/Cassandra. That's BetterHelp, spelled HELP.com/Cassandra. And with this link, this code, you will get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/Cassandra for anyone who's interested in pursuing professional therapy done online. So we are still doing our mental self-care series for men on Instagram. So make sure to join me during the month of May, every Tuesday in May at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm doing my mental health care series for men where I have a different guest each week. And we're going to be talking about different ways that we can normalize mental health for men and support men in the caring of their own self-care. And so you can join me. Make sure to follow me on Instagram so that you can get on the live. My Instagram handle is TheCassandraMack, the word the followed by my name, Cassandra Mack. And I also want to let you know about a book that I put out recently, and it's called Simple Prayers to Pray When You Don't Know What to Say. There's so much of what we go through is really spiritual warfare. It's spiritual. It manifests in the physical, but it's spiritual. And the weapon that you have at your disposal is the weapon of prayer. Prayer is a weapon of mass destruction in the spirit. Not only is prayer a conversation with God, not only is prayer a way to power up spiritually and to get in tune and in touch spiritually connected with God, but it is a weapon of mass destruction spiritually. The Bible tells us that no weapon formed against us shall prosper, right? And so weapons will form, but with prayer, you can begin to dismantle a lot of the things that are coming at you spiritually. And so in the book, Simple Prayers to Pray When You Don't Know What to Say, it is a book of brief, immediate prayers that are Bible-based. So each prayer starts with a Bible scripture so that you're actually praying scripture. And then it goes into the topical area of the prayer, whether you're praying for direction or guidance or peace, or you're praying for emotional strength, or you're praying for clarity about a decision you have to make. So before even going into the topical area of the prayer, it gives you a scripture relative to the topic. And each prayer can be said roughly 2 to 3 minutes. So surely you have 3 minutes in the morning to spend with God. Think about how we charge our cell phones. We charge our cell phones so that our phones can operate at full capacity and all the applications are working properly. And so similarly, when we are praying, not only are we conversing with God spiritually, but we are plugging into our spiritual power source to make sure that we operate at maximum capacity. We have a whole kingdom inside of us, and we want to be able to operate with peace that surpasses all understanding, with the joy of the Lord that is our strength, with wisdom from up above and knowledge and understanding. But to do so, we got to plug into our power source. And that's what prayer does for us. And so the book, Simple Prayers to Pray When You Don't Know What to Say, is available at Amazon as both a paperback and an ebook. You can simply go to Amazon, type in my name, and I'll also make sure the link to my Amazon page with all of my books is in the video description box. Have an amazing day. Take care of yourselves and each other. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.